Hello, everybody who's in the chat. Let's give it a little while for people to start pouring in. I don't know if people are going to pour in. It's Sunday at 10:30. I mean, who's got anything better to do than spend time with me, really? So I appreciate you guys that are here. But happy Sunday. So, happy Sunday to all. Let me know who's in the chat. The way this works, guys, is you leave comments, and here's AA. Yes. Hi. Hey there, AA. Happy Sunday to you. What's on your mind today, AA? Besides the topic of today, open forum, we have questions. Rita is here. I don't think I've ever seen Rita before. Rita, where did you find me from? I'm really happy to see you here. It says you're from YouTube. I'm going to give it a little while for people to start coming in. Basically, I love when you guys leave comments. Comment. Oh. I am silent. Oh, yeah, Rita? Rita, how did you find me? And how long have you been watching, just so that I know? So I know what level to address you at. And I don't mean anything disrespectful by that at all. Jeanette's here. Hello from California. Did you hear that a serious Cal exit movement is happening? California is trying to become their own nation. They're trying to separate, just like Texas always threatens to. California is really looking into it. And you guys would have Gavin Newsom is the president of California. Yikes. A few years, but not consistent. Okay, so you basically know what I do. So, well, thank you for coming here. Thank you for reaching out. And I'm very happy that you're here. If you have any questions at all, since you decided to reach out, feel free. We're going to go into the Book of Raziel today, which is a book from around the 13th century, give or take. In the Book of Raziel, Raziel is the one who, I want to get this right. He either tells Cain about the mark or he gives Cain the mark. I messaged Black Sunrise today about how to get a chip out of me. Where is it on your body? Watching Congress hearing on UFOs, that's a waste of time. You're never going to hear, well, actually, that's not true. Let me take that back. Congress recently received, and I forget who it was, maybe Matt Gaetz or somebody, gave Congress unredacted UFO information. Have any of you guys seen that video of the Malaysia plane with the 3 dots that surround it and then the plane just disappears? Hi, Denise. Denise is here. Denise, hi. Rita, have you heard of August Day? He has an app that can see the mark. Whoa. No, I haven't heard that. Which mark are you talking about exactly? The mark of the beast? What do you mean? Does this have to do with Kabbalah, and what does this have to do with the lake of fire? Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Psalms. Elizabeth, firstly, are you familiar with what it is that I do and talk about? And secondly, are you talking about the Book of Raziel with Kabbalah? Because if that's the case, then yes, it is tied into it. There is no lake of fire. Let me explain this to you guys. The word inferno means a flaming lake of fire where souls go. But when you give up your body and your nervous system, which is how you process pain, how are you going to burn as a soul in a lake of fire? Fire is of this dimension, right? It's one of the elements. Now, inferno, you flip a letter, inverno in Italian, and that means winter. and I go over this in my presentation too, that I talk about. Um, Hell is actually winter on Earth. Hell is not a lake of fire. At least one is in my abdomen, but I have effects all over the body. This is a little bit out of my purview, AA, to be honest with you. There are ways to cleanse your body from it. I just don't know them. And I wish I could remember who does. They're going to say aliens want one world government. Oh, please try that. I can't wait. The Mark of Cain, the Scarlet Letter. There's plenty. It's been called plenty of things over the history of time. Through photographs. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Yes, I watch your videos all the time, and I'm grateful to have you because your channel is very informative. Elizabeth, I see that you're on YouTube, but I would love to talk to you on social media about my work and find out more about you. I love to get to know people that watch me. So if you could reach out to me on any of the social media platforms, you could just search my name. And on Twitter, I'm at Real Mr. Dank, but everything else, I'm Micah Dank. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And I appreciate you, Elizabeth. I really do. I would love to talk to you on social. So please reach out. I want to start before we get into Raziel. Just promoting something. Let me tell you what my book series is about, because many of you, and I know I talk about it every day, but I'm not like Alex Jones. Every 3 seconds, I'm not like, you better eat your chaga mushroom. Buy them for me. Buy them for me. I don't do that. What I will tell you is that I've created a 8-book series that will completely dismantle the last 12 years of our lives. All the lies, all the hidden things, all the secrets. In my first book, I talk about MK Ultra. In my second book, I talk about the pyramids and the capstones and how Islam was created. In my third book, I talk about the Rosicrucians versus the Knights Templar. In my fourth book, I talk about, which I predicted. In my fifth book, I talk about the Missing Library of Alexandria. On my sixth book, I completely embarrass and expose the Bohemian Grove. I explain their little cabins that they have. I talk about everything. My seventh book talks about the alchemical process of taking the Kaaba, or a piece of the Kaaba, which is in Mecca, and turning that metal into gold. My eighth book is about destroying the Federal Reserve. They're all so important. And if you like the information that I give you on my channel, on my YouTube channel, if you like that information, you will find a lot more in my book series. It's 1984 from George Orwell, mixed with Da Vinci Code, with young, wise-ass kids. It's hysterical, and you'll see a lot of personality in it. But this is how you soft pill people. But my point is, I would implore you all to go to my website, which I just put in the chat, if it ever goes. There it is, debunkmywork.com. You will have a section where you can pick up my first book. And I'm just asking you guys to pick up book 1. It's $16. And if you get it on Audible or digital, it's even less. I would just want you guys to pick up the first book because I want to start talking about my books. I really want to start talking about my books, but I need a solid foundation of people who have read them. If you guys could pick up book 1, I would love it and appreciate it. And if you could just leave a review or even look at the reviews to see what they are, they're fantastic. The reviews are amazing. And I also sell these little flash drives that have all 8 of my digital books, as well as all my astrotheology work. So that's how you support me. I don't have a Patreon where I gatekeep information. That's not what I do. I don't gatekeep. But I do ask you guys to take this journey with me and see what I've figured out and what I have written about. What is the real name of the Father? Oh Lord. Um, by what? Kabbalah, Islam, Christianity? Because Jews and Christians think it's Yahweh, but that's not Yahweh. Yahweh, Yod He Vav He. That's a Phoenician Canaanite deity. You know who else was a Phoenician Canaanite deity? Moloch. You know who else? Baal. The Jews chose Yahweh out of the Phoenician Canaanite library to worship. Yahweh is an asshole. He asks Abraham to sacrifice his son, then stops him, and he's like, "Oh, you believe in me? Okay. No longer have to sacrifice humans. Now you sacrifice animals." So they're burning these animals at the altar. The smoke goes up to the ceiling, and in the Bible it says the Lord smelt it and he was pleased. That's disgusting. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, the real name of the father is lost in history, but it's going to come out one day. You live again, Micah? What's going on, man? What's up, HT5SS? Saw you yesterday. Glad you're here today. I learned about adrenochrome when I saw your video about the Queen royal family. Yeah, that was my first video that I did that actually it got almost 10,000, more than 10,000 views. It was kind of popular for a little bit, and it got a lot of attention. I talk about adrenochrome in book 6. God could be feminine. Rick, let me just dispel this right now. You know how you see so this is known as the blade. This is the earliest symbol. This right here is the earliest symbol for the penis. This is known as the chalice. When you combine the two, male, female, you get the Star of David. It's a hermaphrodite. Baphomet is a hermaphrodite. He has breasts, he's the body of a man, and the head of a goat. It's all the same stuff. But you have to understand, in this dimension, there's only male and female energy. That's it. God is part feminine, God is part masculine. I know that a lot of, I know there's a lot of texts out there that say God had a wife, Asherah, and all this stuff, but that's just, again, these are just books where people don't know what they're talking about. They're just encoded astrology books that people are taking literally. God is a combination of the male and the female energy. It has to be. Thoughts on the Vatican archive. Thoughts on the Vatican archive. Okay, so that's eventually going to come down. If I can get my work out there, my astrotheology work out there, and my book series, which calls for that, calls for a raid of the Vatican, they might be able to do it. Now, why? Because the astrotheology disproves the literal Bible and everything. It disproves the literal narrative. And that's what's important. That's how we destroy the Abrahamics, and that's how they stop fighting with each other, and that's how we get to peace. Now, there's going to be a lot of issues coming along the way once that happens, but that's what my mission is. That's what I'm trying to do. The Vatican archive needs to be studied. It needs to be rated. And the fact that it hasn't been is insane. The Trinity. Oh, okay. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit that connects them. The S-U-N. Ever since the beginning of time, people have been worshiping the sun. and they've all been solar deities. We know Horus was, we know Osiris was. I mean, there's been countless solar deities. Jesus is a solar deity too. They just, instead of writing a book that continues with the mythology of these creatures, these characters that represent the sun, they put a man. Well, I'll just give you Thomas Paine's quote. Remember Thomas Paine, the fantastic writer and one of the founding fathers, 250 years ago? He said, "The Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, where they place a man called Christ in the place of the sun and give him the adoration that they would give to the sun. It's always been about the sun. Now, whether you worship that or not is really up to you. I don't worship anything. I don't think worship is necessary. I think if I want to connect with Source, I know how to do that. I don't need to worship it. Everything's inside you." Thank you, brother, for your video. Much love. Michael Emordeno. Michael, where are you from, brother? Oh, you're on YouTube. How did you find me, Mike? And which video are you talking about? Hey, Micah, nice to catch you live. Bobby. Hey, Bobby. Long time. I'm going to start doing weekend stuff, too, because I get people in here. What's up, love? Let's get those books in that library. Christy, have you read my book series yet? Christy's one of my best friends, but I don't know if she's read my book series yet. I can't remember. But let's definitely do that. So, Christy, enjoy your shower. This will be a fun conversation. Same as Area 51. A lot of them said they were going to raid it. Nothing happened. I'm on book 4. Book 4 is the best. Christy, I wrote book 4 in 2017. When you read that book, realize that I wrote it in 2017. How do you connect to Source? Prayer? There's nothing wrong with praying. But if you pray, they talk about it in the Bible. The Bible isn't all awful information. But when you connect to Source, you can do things like meditate. And if you don't have the patience or don't know how to meditate, just buy a non-scented candle. Non-scented. Because the smell is going to bring up your olfactory senses. And it's going to be a distraction from what you're trying to do. You get a candle that is non-scented. And one wick. Don't get 3 of them because you're not going to be able to focus. 1 wick, unscented candle, light it, and sit and get comfortable and just stare at it for half an hour. It'll open your pineal gland up. It'll also help decalcify it, because the problem is a lot of people can't connect to Source because of things like, what they put in the water, or things that they put in you, or just in general, just what you eat. Like, everything is poison. So you really have to do your homework and not trust these experts. What you need to do is do your own research, which is the antithesis of what everybody is telling you to do. So that's how you know it's the right way. But how do you connect to Source? You can get a copper pyramid, put it outside. You can get them online on Amazon, and then it attracts energy. And then you just go out, and then you just try and quiet your thoughts. Just close your eyes. You don't have to do this. Although this is a mudra, what you're doing right here. See, they try and tell you that this is evil. They try and tell you this is evil, right? 666, white power, all that stuff they tried to tell you. No, you invert it. It's the mudra. What it does is when you do this, is it makes a connection to the nerves in your body. So you do this. You sit, and if you can't do this, don't do that. But just sit and try and quiet your thoughts. Eventually, what's going to happen when you start to decalcify your pineal gland is you're going to start feeling what's called downloads. Eventually, if you're in the right mental position. I would suggest, for starters, to cancel alcohol. Alcohol brings your levels down, and it's addicting, and it brings your vibration down. That's why there's always commercials on it for TV, but there's no commercials for marijuana. Marijuana brings it up. You could take a small dose of marijuana or a microdose of shrooms, How do you connect to source? You can do shrooms. You can do most hallucinogens. That's how you connect to source. Well, that's how you cheat to connect to source. All these Buddhist monks, I forget who said this. It might have been Rogan, but he was like, no, I don't think it was Rogan, but it was someone on Rogan. He was like, I don't have time to meditate and this and that, so I take DMT and cheat. But that's basically it. But you need to completely love yourself and trust yourself and be in a safe environment when you do this kind of stuff, because the wrong energies can give you a really bad trip, and you don't need that. There's many ways to connect to source, but going to temple or church or a mosque and praying with everybody and just following rules and you stand up now, sit down now, kneel, stand up, sit, kneel, all that kind of stuff. It's nonsense. It's to control you. So where am I now? Elizabeth. So if the kingdom of God is inside of you, then how do you connect? Is it meditation? Yes, a lot of people are leaving the major churches, so you should go live. I know people are leaving major churches. Elizabeth Psalms. I did the Book of Psalms, if you're interested in seeing the astrotheology breakdown to it. The kingdom of God is inside you. Everything is inside you. You can look within and find the strength for everything. You can find the one place God left itself was the one place no one would check. Everybody's looking for an external savior. Every religion is looking for or waiting for an external savior. That's what the problem is. You are meant to save yourself. You are meant to look within. And this isn't some new age bullshit. People say new age all the time. I fucking hate the phrase new age. New age isn't real because yoga, tarot, astrology, astrotheology, gematria, all this stuff predates the religion itself. How is something new age or satanic if astrology came before the concept or idea or understanding of Satan even existed? So whenever someone tells you new age, you know that they're just listening to religious buzzwords. But Elizabeth, I think I just went over how to connect to source, to be honest with you. You also see it in your children's eyes, right? The way you love them, just that love. That's what our Creator has for us. It's that same love. We're all a part of God, and we are all God's children. Michael, brother, the first time I think I've seen you was on the Christian Whistleblower, if I'm not mistaken. I truly resonate with you, and I truly feel connected with you. And I live in, I can't pronounce that, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Okay. Michael, thank you, brother. Michael, reach out to me. And now that I got more people in here, let me just rephrase and start over for a second. I would like to start talking about my book series. I have 8 books in the series. It's called Into the Rabbit Hole. My website is debunkmywork.com. You can all get a copy of my first book. There's a link there for all my books. My first book is called Beneath the Veil. I would implore you all who listen to the kind of stuff I talk about, realize that I don't have a Patreon and I'm not gatekeeping anything, and just support me that way. I have flash drives and I have my books, and I sell signed copies of my books if you're interested. If you think the kind of stuff I talk about is interesting, wait till you read the book series. Think about all the books that you've read. Have they ever really changed your life? Wait till you find out this information that I've hidden in them. Through watching Santos Archaics. I've been on Archaics once, or technically his player channel, which is his subscription base. But I'm going to be on there, Rick. I'm going to be on Archaics in 9 days. And I'm going to go over my entire astrotheology presentation with Jason. Now, Jason told me that he doesn't agree with my time dating and my carbon dating, is what I meant to say, which is fine. But he said he agrees with everything else, so I can't wait to bring this to you guys on his main channel in 9 days. How do you stay sane learning all this information? I'm about to go crazy. Well, HT5SS, I did go crazy. When I started learning all this stuff, I went into a hospital for 3 weeks. This was in 2012. While I was in the hospital, I wrote my first book. And they didn't even have pens because they were afraid you were going to like do something to yourself, or pencils. They had like thin markers. And I had a bunch of those little blue books that you have like when you take tests, like essay booklets. Um, or like when you like for if you're going to be a teacher. Like when I was, I took the LAST, the ATSW, and the CST, and I passed all three. But like those little booklets, those are the three tests that you need to become a teacher. And I did that a long time ago. How do you stay sane learning all this? Because you make lemons out of lemonade. You expose it. That's what you do. You expose it. People are afraid to talk. People are afraid to speak up against things, but we're seeing in public that a lot of great things are about to happen to this country. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but stop looking for a savior. Just appreciate for people who are out for your benefit. Stop looking for a savior. Now, Christy says, if you need more guidance on connection, seek out a spiritual coach or counselor. There are a ton of us out here who want to help. Christy is my greatest student of my work. Christy, I know you're in the shower right now, and I don't even know. Are you doing voice to text? I don't even know. But Christy, I would love you to come on and explain your story about how you found my work and what your life was like and what things are like now. I would love you to do that if you could ever. If you have a link for a copper pyramid, it would be great if you could share it. All you got to do is go to Amazon and type in copper pyramid. That's all you got to do. Now, they come from overseas, so it's going to take a little while, but you can get them. They're only a couple $100s. I'm in Milwaukee. I got Wisconsin in the house. Well, I'll tell you something. As a New Yorker, I grew up as a New York Jets fan. And we took your two best quarterbacks of your lifetime, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they found out how hard it is to do anything positive when you're a Jet. Being a Jet is permanently stabbing yourself in the stomach with a pair of scissors. That's what it feels like to be a Jet fan. But you guys are great. I mean, Jordan Love looks great too. So I hope he doesn't go to the Jets when he's done. But Wisconsin in the house. Yes, you did. Can you explain gematria and how it's used? I don't go too far into gematria. Basically, I'll give you an example. Let me show you the Hebrew alphabet. I just need a picture that's actually pretty large. Okay, good. All right. And let's go on a learning adventure together. Let's do that. Oh, okay. Do you guys see this right here? Please, for the love of God, show up. There it is. Okay. Now you're looking. Now remember, Hebrew is right to left, not left to right. That's the alphabet right here. Let's go through it. From the top right, going left, then back down to the right, then all the way to the left, then back down. Okay? Here are your letters. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pe, Tzadik, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tuf. That is the alphabet. Now, if you look at the top right, that's an aleph. That's the first letter of the alphabet. That is given a number 1. Bet is 2. Gimel is 3. Dalet is 4. Hey is 5. And so on and so forth. 22 letters of the alphabet. When you start combining the letters together, for example, chay, a chet and a yud, okay, that has a gematria value of 18. And chai means life. So they tie the number 18 to life. And what's an example of that for some reason? Well, if you're Jewish and somebody's about to go on a trip, you have to give them money in denominations of 18. So you give them like $1.80 or $3.60 for two of them, or for whatever. You give them in that's what you do. That's how they use it. But it doesn't explain, or it doesn't. I would suggest going back to my interview section on my YouTube and checking out the 1111 Matrix Code series that I did with Garrett King. But that's just like an intro to Gematria. I don't really fuck with Gematria, to be honest with you, because it doesn't help me. But that's basically what it is. I bought your first book and will support you that way. I can't make you guys do it. Thank you, Hector. I can't make you guys do it. I can only tell you that I've put my life, soul, and research into my book series. And I would love you all to read it because I want to start answering questions and talking about my first book. So debunkmywork.com, or go to Amazon at your local place, or your local Amazon. Micah Dank, Into the Rabbit Hole, Beneath the Veil. That's my first book. I ordered Beneath the Veil last night. Good. So you guys, as I start to do this in like a couple of weeks, I'll give it a couple of weeks. What is it, November? Let's say like January, right? Like the beginning of the new year. We'll start talking about my first book. You guys are going to love it, and you're going to be addicted to the series. Because the way I present information is in a way that a lot of you are familiar, but not a lot of you are familiar. It's a very interesting thing. We're all just individualized manifestations of Source. Correct. A tiny but integral part of the whole. I see you're divine. Do you? Brandon's correct. Think about it like this, guys. God is infinite, right? That's what the religious will tell you. That's what everything is. Well, how does anything exist outside of the infinite? The concept of God is an all-inclusive everything. This is a part of God. Now, how the is a fruit punch part of God? Well, at its Planck scale, it's got strings that vibrate. It's actually alive in a sense. On a lesser level than crystals, sure. But everything vibrates. Everything moves. That's hermetics. That's the third hermetic principle. String theory 6,000 years later is learning about something that we knew 6,000 years ago. The third hermetic principle, the principle of vibration. Everything vibrates. Everything is alive. You can do deep studies into how plants feel pain, how they shade their children plants, how they favor them, how they set up underground. Now, everything has life to it. Everything is important. Everything is energy. That's why it's important to take in the good energy and to leave the bad energy. Smashing that like button and sharing also helps. Thank Christy. I did too, just recently because I saw angels and thought I was crazy. You're not crazy. You can either let it break you or you can let it empower you. Those are your choices. I made lemons out of lemonade, and I'm just trying to help everybody else on their spiritual guide. But it's a combination of my videos and my books too. So I'm starting to push my books a little bit more because now I have all 8 out. And I'm telling you guys, you don't read books like this. This is different. They're only 240, 250 pages each. They're short reads, but they're so densely packed full of information that you need to know for your soul. I mean, just read the reviews on Amazon. I don't even have to push them. I would love to stay connected to this channel and with you all. I would love that too, Elizabeth. And if you're on social, let me know. I'm down. I can make time tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, right? Yes, tomorrow we can definitely do this. We'll go live, Christy, around 11 or 12. And we'll catch the lunch crowd. And I'll have you tell your story. Rita's just making faces. Hey, Rita. For the noobs, brother, what are the other study subjects in regards to the ancient writings besides astrotheology? Well, I would suggest you start with astrotheology and through me, because the way I explain it is much easier. I explain the intro to astrotheology. I make it very easy. And then you go to like Santos or Jordan or David Matheson, Jason Quitt. There's not many of us, but it's an astrotheologist. Um, that's the basis of everything. But if I were to, let me just get it real quick. Hold on. Favorites. I have to find it. Hold on. There it is. There's 11 holy sciences in the Bible: astrological, metaphysical, anatomical, alchemical, spiritual, esoteric, mythology. That's 7. Gematria, etymology, numerology, symbology. Um, but you start with one. This book is so deeply layered that it blows my mind that people just read it as it blows my mind that people read it at surface level and they're like, all right, I got to go to my backyard and sacrifice a bull. And then they try and figure out how to do that. Like, it blows my mind. This book was, I guess the book is a gatekeeper in a sense. Are copper pyramids the same as organites? Not sure if that's right. Denise, no. Organite is another, organite is it's a crystal. Organite is a gem. Which has a lot of positive health benefits. Like it helps your circadian rhythm and your toroidal field. It helps settle it. But no, copper pyramids are different. It does a similar thing, copper pyramids, but it just basically blocks frequencies and it just allows you to just sit there in your pure essence. Is reincarnation possible? I got into a ride, an NDE, before I saw this white hole. It's bright, but behind me there was a big gate closed. I woke up before I even figured it out. So the gate's not there, but the white light when you die and you see all your family members and pets and loved ones is a reincarnation trap. So not only is it possible, but it's exactly what it is. To avoid the reincarnation trap and go where your soul truly comes from, because none of us are from here. We all come here to learn. This is like going to school. Like, you drop your kid off at school. It's not at your house. You're going to drive a couple miles. Then there's the school. Our souls come here. This is the school. The white light, the reincarnation trap. If you go down that tunnel, some people say that at the end, the white light, that's your next mother's birth canal, and you're coming out and you're being reborn. Again, they swipe your memory so you don't remember anything. Reincarnation absolutely does happen. To stop this, what you do is when you see the white light, you're going to turn your body around, or your astral body, your soul, turn it around so you're not facing it, and ask out to God in the universe where you want to go. And that's what you do. You just say, hey, I want to go back to where I truly come from. I don't want to ride this ride again. Okay, so I'm sorry, the Hebrew is really small. What is this? Aleph, Chet. Okay, so this is Echad. So Echad means 1 equals 13. I don't understand how you made that connection, Derek, but Echad actually does mean 1. To number them, Echad, Shtayim, Shalosh, Arba, Chamesh, Shesh, Sheva, Shmone, Tesha. Sorry, that's 1 through 10. I don't know what you mean about the dollar bill, Derek. Explain. Book club, I love it. I love it too. Thank you, Christy. I'm so down. Good. I'll tell you something. Joe Namath was one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Unfortunately, he had bad knees, but I love that guy too. It's the only thing that even the Jets, right? Remember Darrelle Revis? He was like one of the greatest picks they ever got. University of Pittsburgh. He was a shutdown corner. He got frustrated. He left the Jets. He went to the Patriots. He won. Then he came back to the Jets and retired as a Jet. The Jets are cursed. I don't know how you guys came to Micah, but I came actually from a Bitcoin interviewer, which mentioned Micah and Santos in the age of Aquarius. Now I'm going to start the book series. I'm grateful. Can you send me that link? I would love to see that, Hector. And if you're on social media, Hector, please reach out to me. Brother, I'm like a sponge when I listen to you. I'm so looking forward to following you more and more. Michael, you too. Reach me out to me on social media. I'm gonna look for it. But thank you. What a beautiful smile, Elizabeth. Your light shines bright. This world is a soul trap. It's a necessary soul trap, Elizabeth. The only thing you have to do is to choose love over fear. And I know that sounds so crazy, but choosing love in a situation where evil exists, you guys have to understand this dimension, evil will always exist. There will always be pedophiles. There will always be murderers. There will always be rapists. There will always be, they exist. They have to exist because evil is a necessary component to your soul's journey on this plane. Evil is. With evil, it reflects the light. In this dimension, you can't, like, if everything was good, then we wouldn't be able to know that it was good. Because we know good because we know what evil is. We know what evil is because we know what good is. Everything is binary on this planet like that. Good morning, Mike, because today is going to be another good day, Jamie. Aleph 1. Oh, I see what you did. You did the gematria. Let me go back. Okay. Oh, I see how you connected it. Okay. Yes, your gematria is correct. But I don't see a connection with it. We live inside of a dirty trick. When I meditate right now, keep meditating. Jamie, I got your message yesterday. We were talking for a little bit. Please try and choose love. Please try. I know how frustrating it is to know a truth about something and the rest of the world be ignorant to, and how mad it can make you. But if you let it take over and you just become an angry person online, no one's going to listen to you. You attract people with honey. Aleph, Chet, Dalet, Echad. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's correct. That's correct. But I can't make the connection. I can make the connection. Aleph is 1, Chet is 8, Dalet is 4. Correct. That's 13, yes, but I don't see the further connection. We are all visitors just passing through. We are. And we need to understand where we are. That's what we're trying to do. Is we're all trying. Everything is information, guys. Everything is information, right? That's what you go to school for. You pay a lot of money for information. Everything that's communicated back and forth, building company, you're trading information. Information is the commodity on this planet. And it's our duty to learn as much truth about our area as possible. And people will try and lie to you. And when they try and lie to you and you don't pay attention to them, they will start calling you names. They'll get nasty. And that goes for governments. That goes for people. That goes for lovers. Just don't do that. After our little talk, I'm a totally different man. All I needed was a little guidance. Your work is also my work, man. I love this stuff. So, guys, I'm going to let you guys talk for a minute because I got to go run and make a quick call, but I'm not going to leave the stream. So give me like 5 minutes, okay? But yeah, guys, start talking to each other in the chat so when I come back, we can deal with it. so happy that a lot of you stayed. Thank you. All right, let's see what's going on here. Whoa. How to astral project. I've never astral projected. How do I answer this? You want to be careful with things like astral projection. In my 4th book, I talk about it. Pangea's Pandemic. I talk about how to astral project. I talk about DMT drip monitoring. I talk about things that you guys aren't familiar with. But the astral projection thing is interesting because when you astral project, your soul leaves your body, which is what it does when we go to sleep at night. Your soul leaves your body and leaves. When you astral project, what you're doing is you're putting your body, some people can call it an NDE. Some people say, you can sleep and then you can project. When you project, you have a silver cord that connects your ethereal body to your belly button on Earth. And it's an interdimensional cord. It's silver. A lot of people will say, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the silver cord before. The silver cord is very important because if that gets broken, if you tug it or you rip it or you do anything, you cannot go back to your body. So you just move on. There are people who are much better at astral projection and explaining than me. Like the government has done studies on astral projectors. Dan Brown talked about it in The Lost Symbol. You can read a book on how to astral project, but you basically, I'll give you an example. They talk about astral projection. Have you guys remembered the Insidious movies? Remember the Insidious movies? You had The Conjuring and then Insidious, and a lot of people like the Insidious movies, right? Well, the thing about Insidious 2, the second one, was a story about a young boy who fell asleep and wouldn't wake back up. And his father couldn't wake him up. They bring in a witch or I forget what kind of person they brought in. They brought in like a spirit guide or something. And she said that he's a very powerful astral projector and he's lost. So they had to put him under to go into this astral field to find the boy. They openly talk about astral projection. The government admits that it's real. There are plenty of books on it. I don't know. I've never astral projected myself, but I do talk about how to astral project and the things you have to worry about. How do you all like our teacher? Have you noticed he's not in service to self, only to others? Well, Jamie, I appreciate that. I am in service to others. I've been for the last 12 years since I discovered some of this stuff, and I'm sharing it with everybody. And I'm only now starting to ask you guys to support me with flash drives or my book series. If you guys want a set of my signed book series, I do that too. These are my books. These are my 8 books. I have boxes of them waiting for people to order them. And people have them. But if you guys want to support me, I would appreciate it that way. And you're getting a lot for it. I promise you. You're not just giving money away. I heard astral projection is bad because you may get something you don't want attached to you. You have to see the Insidious 2 movie. That's right, Rita. At one time, I met Mark Castano. I was his bodyguard when he was a spokesman with Mike Ditka for Valley Health Clubs. Mark was a really good athlete. Okay. You were his bodyguard? That's awesome. I like Ditka. Ditka's funny. That's where I'm at in my awakening, learning astro travel. Okay, just remember what I said to you, Jamie, this time, okay? Beware the silver cord. Don't let it get tangled. Don't rip it. And if you go, just stay within the general realm of your body. What do you think about the mythology side of things? Elizabeth, I've found from the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Bible, the Quran, the Book of Mormon, all the Gnostic texts, all this stuff is astrotheology. And I've broken down almost all of it. And I'm still finding new books and I'm still going over it. I just did the book of, let's do the Book of Raziel. We have to do that. I love the mythology allegory. Thank you. I love decoding allegory. Gets me off. I'm a New Yorker. Jamie talks a lot like me, so we always talk and laugh like this because I'm a New Yorker. I'm a wise ass, you know. Bad spirits and good spirits like a near death. Some people experience a bad presence until a good one comes. Correct. Lucid dreaming is a form of astral projection. It is. Do you guys understand what lucid dreaming is? Lucid dreaming is that part when you're in a dream and you know you're in a dream. So you can actually start to interact and change things around instead of you go from being, what does Eckhart Tolle say? You become the participant in the situation. You become the participant instead of just the onlooker. You can get struck and do not know how to come back. You can get lost if you do not know where you're going or what you're doing. Elizabeth, Insidious 2. It's a scary, scary horror movie, but that's what it's about. The Doctor is here. I'm beginning to do it now, Micah. Astral Project. Ordered 3 books on it. And my books too, hopefully. I was a motorcycle gang member before I was spontaneously awakened, and that's a little bit of the reason why I'm like the way I am. I don't know how to be nice properly. Listen, my best friend John was in a motorcycle gang too. It's the same way. But when I talk to you like I talk to my best friend John. You're teaching me this. I was a 1%er, an outlaw for about 10 years. Do you guys understand what the 1% means? The Hells Angels, for example. 99% of bikers are law-abiding citizens. But if you have 1% on your jacket, you're not a law-abiding citizen. So, Jamie, you don't have to tell us what you did, but that's what a 1%er means. It's the 1% of people that are not law-abiding citizens. Yes, because I love this channel because people are already lost, and then the gatekeepers want to control people. So I'm grateful that we can come here and get the truth. Elizabeth, reach out to me on social media. I love you already. And please pick up my first book and see what what this truly is about. Beneath the Veil, Into the Rabbit Hole, Beneath the Veil. I'll show you it. This is what it looks like, guys. That's what it looks like. Pick it up because we're going to do a book club. We're going to start going through my book series and we're going to educate the world, okay? Dollar bill, 13 symbolism, 13 stars, 13 arrows, 13 leaves, 13 olives, 13 vertical stripes, 13 letters in E pluribus unum, 13 levels in the truncated pyramid, 1, 13. $13 is a negative number. They don't have 13th floors. Why is 13 such a revered bad number? Where does that come from? Is it because 12 is united? 12 zodiac signs, 12 disciples. Everything's 12. And 13 is wrong? No. Is it because there's 13 disciples? If you include John the Baptist as Aquarius, the man with the water pitcher baptizing everyone? No. So where does 13 come from? October 13th, 1307. Friday the 13th. That's where that comes from. That was the day that Jacques de Molay and the rest of the Knights Templar were destroyed by the Catholic Church. And it's just had a bad connotation until then, but that's its genesis. You don't need to be scared about things like this, like this, like this, if you know where they come from. If you know where they come from and you know the origin of the meaning, you'll realize they're not evil, and you'll realize they have no power over you. It's just the Christian bros and the conspiracy people that are like, oh my God, Ariana Grande did this. You have to understand, and I do talk about that. So let me just go through the rest of the comments, and then we'll do the Book of Raziel, okay? Have you heard of Ed Dames? I have not, Michael. Listen, if anybody wants to email me, I'm going to put the email here. Hold on. That's my email address. And if anybody wants to email me anything, people email me all the time. People who don't often want to. I mean, even for you guys out there who are listening, who are not commenting, and you're just taking in information, you can email me privately, and I won't put you on blast. People email me all the time questions, or they want signed books, or they want a flash drive, or they want to see my thoughts on something. Email me. There's my email address, into the rabbit hole series at gmail.com. I'm having these beautiful interactions with positive entities. Do I have to worry about the negative ones that used to taunt me as a child? No, they have no power over you. They have no power over you. Fear is their power. These energetic beings, they. You remember? Do you remember the movie Men in Black with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? Do you remember at the end when the girl was climbing up the tower with the bug, with the alien, and she said, "I'm a queen here. And if you take me, you're going to cause a war." And the bug was like, "Good, war is good, feeds my family, all 20 million of them." There are energies out there, which is why everything is so negative and everything is fear based, like the news. Everything is negative and scary. It keeps you in a lower vibrational state, a fear state, because there's beings out there that is their loosh, that is their energy. Your fear is how they do it. You don't give them the fear, they leave you away. They'll fuck off and they won't come back. So be strong. You definitely are getting my support. Mike, if you want signed book or the book series, email me, man. Email's in the chat. But thank you, Mike. And reach out to me on social. I was his bodyguard during his visit to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because he was a celebrity. My occupation is not a bodyguard, though. Thank you for mentioning it. Gotcha. Cool. Helios is here. Hola. It was a while back, but you had noted Saturn and how it represents crystallization of spirit into physical forms. If that is the case, what symbolizes its opposite? Is crystallization wrong? That doesn't sound like something I said, I don't think. Crystallization of spirits through Saturn. I only mentioned that the Jewish religion is Saturnalia based. They're a Saturn based lunar cult. You have to wear wedding rings because you have to pledge your fidelity in front of the gods. Saturn has rings. Women had to wear earrings. Why did women wear earrings? Because men told them they had to listen to their god, and their god was Saturn, so they had to wear this. Now, Saturn takes 29.5 to 30 years to rotate. So that's why when they talk about a Saturn return, they talk about the point where your birth chart, where Saturn was, it's going to go all the way around and it's going to come back to it. It takes 30 years. That's why Ezekiel was 30 where he saw the vision. David was 30 when he started. David was 30 when he started building the temple. Jesus was 30 when he started his ministry. All 30, 30, 30, 30. Because Jews are a Saturnalia-based cult. And you could only teach after you've had your Saturn return. "1% badass. Which club, dude?" So Jamie, the doctor's asking. "Brother, it's so awesome that I sleep so hard and I have the most incredible vivid dreams. I have to start remembering to write them down, but I have so many incredible dreams." So I don't talk about this often, but and I'm not going to tell you to smoke cigarettes because you're not going to want to do that. But we have nicotine receptors in our body. We get nicotine from certain fruits and vegetables. We need a certain amount of nicotine every day. Now, if you were to take a nicotine pouch, and I usually do them, but if you were to take a nicotine pouch about 3 milligrams and bring it into your body, you will have the most potent, intense dreams you've ever had in your life. Nicotine is also helping to undo some of the damage of this. I want a signed copy, Into the Rabbit Hole. Need to check my funds, but I'm having that. All right, Jamie. I believe there are 13 astrological signs. Well, they are. Well, okay. So, Mike, this is the difference between what we know as tropical astrology, which is whole sign astrology, which is that. That's what that is. You have 12 divisions of 30 degrees to make the 360-degree pie. But that's not actually the size of the constellations. For example, Virgo would be a month and a half with sidereal astrology. Scorpio's like 6 days. It's the size of the constellation. Now, what does that mean? Well, Ophiuchus, which sits, hold on, I'll find it. I've never actually looked at this before. So here's Leo, here's Virgo, here's Libra. Okay, so here's Scorpio, and here's Sagittarius. So Ophiuchus sits between these two, Scorpio and Sagittarius. And that's the 13th sign. Now, Ophiuchus is not on the ecliptic, so we can't see it. But here's the thing: these two astrologies are competing, but they're not really competing. Mike, if we're at a party together, right, and we're like, all right, let's go to a diner or something, and you take your car and I take my car, and and neither of us are familiar with the area, so we punch it into our GPS. They're going to take us two separate ways, but we're going to end up at the same place. That's what that is. Now, Santos and Jordan and a lot of us, Johnny Enoch, one of my good friends, and a lot of us, we use my astrologer Priscilla. We use tropical astrology. But there is really there are differences, but they're basically the same. I was a Kanaki outlaw. I've never heard of that. My road name is Freak, and trust me, I earned it. Okay. Nicotine, agree. Yes, the doctor. Thank you. Elizabeth, how do you feel about the statement in the Bible, the world was made flesh and dealt? Well, how do things go from non-physical to physical, Elizabeth? You got to ask that. We were created. We were originally created. Then we were modified. That's the whole Anunnaki thing. And I'm not going to go into Billy Carson and his bullshit emeralds and tablets of Thoth. I'm not going to go into that. But the word was made flesh and dealt. That's a really interesting way of putting it. That's what it is. You take the non-physical and breathe life into it, and suddenly it becomes physical. You do the same thing when you have children, right? Before you're having sex to make children, you're taking something non-physical, you're not being physical, and then you're bringing in a material, a matter. You're bringing in a human being that's made up of matter. That's how you make that. We do the same thing. It's as above, so below. All right, let's do this now. We've been on for an hour. The Book of Raziel, for those of you who are new, who don't know my flavor. What year was John in the club? Not to get off subject. We'll talk behind the scenes, Jamie. I want to get this done right now. So, the Book of Raziel. Raziel was one of the angels. Michael, Samael, Ezekiel, all ending in L. Raziel, right? L being Saturn, L being the god. So let's go through this, right? Let's talk about the 12 signs. So the first sign I talk about is Aquarius, which is technically represented by the man. Now, technically, Aries begins the year, but I start in Aquarius because that's sort of near the beginning of our year, which would be right there. The story of Aquarius is basically the story of Zeus and the young boy. So Zeus saw a 14-year-old blonde boy on Earth that he wanted in Mount Olympus or in heaven with him. Incidentally, Mount Olympus is a real place on Earth, guys, and none of the Greeks ever thought to go to the top of Mount Olympus to see if any of the gods they were praying to and things like that were actually there. Nonetheless, he takes the boy up, and the boy is serving people, like in this picture, a drink called ambrosia. That's the nectar of the gods. That's what the gods drank. One day he gets fed up with doing this day in and day out, and he pours it over the side of heaven, which is where the Greeks get their flood story from. Now, Zeus, who's usually a deviant god, in a moment of self-reflection, who doesn't always do this, who never does this, was going to punish him, but instead he immortalizes him as the constellation Aquarius, because he was like, I really shouldn't have brought him up here. He's only 14 and he did other things of that nature. So keywords would be son of man, man, because this is the sign of the man, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. Baptism, because this is how you baptize someone. Water pitcher, because this is a water pitcher. Fountain, the Greek fountain statues are all built like this. Stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea. Now, Aquarius is an air sign, but because Aquarius has a picture of a man with water in it, because the sign is literally water in it, they're talking about water. Now, Pisces is the mutable sign. That's a water sign. It's the sign of the two fish in the water. So stream, river, pond, lake, sea, ocean, same stuff. Now, whether it's Aquarius water or Pisces water, the first two I talk about are basically water. But how do you know that? Well, Aquarius, they would say something like he had a baptism or he drank out of the fountain. Whereas in Pisces, they'll be like he swam in the river with the fish or something of that nature. Now, Aries is the ram. And in Aries, you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night. It's also the Passover, or the passing over of the sun over the equator and back on its way up to its height in the summer solstice. In Christianity, the passing over is changed and called the resurrection of God's Son. And the Jewish Passover would be the third Passover, which is when the angel of death is going to pass over all the houses that don't have the lamb's blood on the door. Well, the lamb is a baby ram. Why is it the ram's blood? Well, because the ram is Aries. And because the Jews are the people of Aries. The Egyptians were the people of Taurus. That's why they had the bull worship. We're not going to get into bull worship because people have been fucking that up forever. But the Egyptians were the people of Taurus, the age of Taurus, the bull. The Jews are the people of Aries, the ram. That's why they blow the ram's horn during the high holidays. So whenever you hear ram, lamb, shepherd, or ram's horn, that's Aries. Taurus is the bull. And when you look at the sky and you see Taurus during the season where it's supposed to be, you know that you need to put the plow on the bull so that you can plant the seeds so you can harvest in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you hear bull, ox, calf, or cow, and a cow is a female bull, you're talking about Taurus. Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's the story of Achilles. So whenever you're talking about twins or brothers, that's Gemini. Cancer is the crab, and it's the sideways moving creature. So just as the sun rises a degree on its axis starting on December 25th, that's when it starts rising. It stops on June 21st, and for 3 days it rises to the same degree, hence moving sideways, just like the crab. This is how the crab walks. This is how the sun walks in Cancer. Then on June 25th, it's going to lower a degree. The crab in the ancient Egyptian times was known as the scarab. So whenever you're talking about crab or beetle, that's Cancer. And it's also why Jesus is called the good beetle by St. Augustine. Leo is the king, the lion, the king of the jungle. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you're talking about lion, lioness, or cub, that's Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. Remember before when we were saying that you plant in Taurus? Well, the virgins would cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make the bread for the year. So whenever you're talking about virgin, wheat, grain, seed, barley, corn, these are all grainy things. These are all things thousands of years ago when the Bible was written, in the northern hemisphere where it was written, Virgo was when you harvest. And all these are harvested then. Libra is the justice, the scales, the balance, the just one. The reason it's the justice is because it judges God's sun as it passes over the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, into death. Libra is also wine season, which is when you plant for the grapes in Taurus, you could press the wine here. Libra is also olive season. So check it out. All law-related things like law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court, wine, vineyard, wine press, grapes, olive oil, that's all Libra. All law, all wine, and all olives. Scorpio is the scorpion. He is the betrayer. When a scorpion bites you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks like two lips. Or when it stings you, I should say. And it's why the mafia has the kiss of death. That's where they get that from. And it's why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss. So the sun it's judged in Scorpio with scales, and it's betrayed in Scorpio. Suddenly in Sagittarius, this is where the bow and the arrow shoot the sun and inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It cannot rise any lower. It's dead. It's the dead of winter. Technically, it's the first day of winter, which is why Jesus was dead for 3 days. Because the ancients would look outside on December 21st. The sun wouldn't crack the horizon because it's at its lowest point. So they'd be like, oh my God, God's sun is dead. And then it's going to walk sideways like the crab for 3 days. So suddenly God's sun was dead for 3 days. When on December 25th, of the birth of all the gods, the sun comes back up and starts to rise again. It's celebrated. That's why the sun's going to start to make its degree back up to summer, where life is out there, and things are getting warmer, and things are beautiful, and flowers and food and everything. That's the great year. So whenever you hear horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, that's Sagittarius. And then you have Capricorn, the goat. Now, if you look at the zodiac wheel, Capricorn's all the way at the bottom, which is where it should be. Because starting on December 25th, the sun is going to rise a degree. Then the 26th, it's going to rise a degree. Then the 27th, it's going to rise another degree. And it's going to start walking its way to the left alongside the zodiac wheel to make its way up to its height in Cancer. But it starts the climb in Capricorn. It starts to climb up the great mountain of the zodiac, which is why Capricorn is the goat. Because the goats climb the mountain better than anything. So let's go. The first book. There are 7 books here. Not all of them have this work. The first section. Hear now the decrees and the laws. So he ate the fig, and it tasted as sweet as honey in his mouth. Any member of Cain's house who sacrifices an ox, a lamb, or a goat for themselves. The law is Libra. The honey is Cancer, where the beehive cluster is. The ox is Taurus, and the lamb is Aries. The goat is Capricorn. Cancer and Capricorn are opposing signs. Can I show you that? Yes, I can. Here's the crab. Right? Is this the crab? Yeah. And then the goat directly is opposed. This, when I say opposing signs, guys, this is what I mean. Here, and then follow it down. Those are opposing signs. This is connecting signs. This is opposing signs. So now that we know that, Cancer and Capricorn are opposing signs, Aries and Libra are opposing signs, and Aries and Taurus are connecting signs. The third book. Let me move this for a second so you guys can see. Thus he created the Mercury in the universe. Thus he created the Venus in the universe. Thus he created the Saturn in the universe. It's all 7 planets. Why 7 planets? Well, if you look at this chart that I've made, well, actually, I got it from the book, but I'll show you. Check this out. Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. They didn't know about Pluto. They didn't know about Neptune. They didn't know about Uranus. And the sun and the moon was considered planets back then. So those are the original 7. They're all attached to a specific day. The sun, Sunday, go figure. The moon, Moon Day. Mars, Tuesday. Mercury, Wednesday. In French, mercredi is Wednesday. Jupiter is Thursday. Jupiter. In French, it's, it's dimanche. Hold on. Mercredi, jeudi. So Jupiter would be jeudi. And then Friday is Venus. Saturday is Saturn Day. Duh. And here are the angels that look over it. And here are the heavens. So there's that. The 6th book. Praise God for the sun, the moon. For the sun and moon, praise him for all shining stars. He is the maker of the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades and the constellations of the south. Tell it not to the wine growers, nor fields that yield offerings of grain, for there the shield of the mighty were defiled. The from God requested shield no longer rubbed with oil, for God's given bow. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. Oh, my brother. The bear is Ursa Major and is in Cancer. Orion is between Taurus and Gemini. The Pleiades are in Taurus. The wine growers are in Libra. The grain is Virgo. The oil is Libra. The bow is Sagittarius. The eagle is the ascendant or the evolved form of Scorpio. The lions are Leo, obviously, and the brother is Gemini. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. 8 signs in a row. You guys seeing this? And they're openly talking about astrology in this one too. It's wild. And God created, this is the sixth book continued, and God created 12 constellations in the sky: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And God created hence 12 months in the year: Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, Shivat, and Adar. But what the book doesn't tell you in Raziel is that the Jews have a 13th month. Now, whereas in most of the world we have a leap day, February 29th, every 4 years the Jews have a leap month. It's called Adar Sheni. So the last month is Adar, and then for the extra month it's Adar Sheni, which means Adar 2. So that is the Book of Raziel with the astrology in it, and I hope you guys appreciate it and like it. And let's see what we got in the comments. Hold on. Can you please give information on foods that are more spiritually nourishing for the body? Please reiterate on that. Avoid processed foods. Avoid seed oils. Avoid I would just tell everyone to start growing their own food, but Whole Foods. You just got to look at the ingredients, guys, and if you can't pronounce it, don't put it in your body. It's not really hard, but just be careful with what you ingest, guys. Micah, your opinion on antediluvian age of Saturn, the golden age? I'd have to look into that a little deeper. I think Santos talks about it, to be honest with you. We don't all cover the same exact information. Our stuff overlaps because it's necessary. If it's truth, it's going to be my truth, your truth, everybody's truth, But I don't know. So, like I said, guys, thank you for hanging out for the Book of Raziel. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for everything. And if I could implore all of you guys, just please pick up my first book, Beneath the Veil. We're going to talk about it. There's so much. I'm going to read you the back of it. Ready? Graham, a functioning alcoholic and Harvard medical student and the protagonist of Into the Rabbit Hole, stumbles across a puzzling communication from his deceased Navy SEAL brother. Graham must work to unravel a litany of secrets sobering in their implications, not only for himself, but for the past 12,000 years of human history and the secrets of the universe. Had he not in his hungover state opened the email, Graham could have continued on his predetermined, successful, if dysfunctional path and never embarked on the paradigm-shifting journey that so loosens his grasp on reality and obliterates not only what he chooses to believe, but what he trusts as fact. I would buy this. But again, guys, I appreciate that. Chrissy, you're welcome, girl. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you soon.